Welcome to episode 102 of the Women's Business Workshop podcast, the show where we help small business owners navigate the challenges and victories of entrepreneurship. I'm Robin Walker, your host and business consultant that offers support for your business, marketing, and event plans. You don't need to do business alone and keep guessing what is next. Set up a free consultation call at the link in the show notes. I would be honored to work together. Today's episode is for the planners. If you are planning your marketing, content, or events for next year, I'll be sharing insights in this episode on some emerging trends for the upcoming year. I think we all can agree that things have been pretty unpredictable lately for small business owners. Some industries are thriving while others are facing some real challenges. Now, it's hard to predict the future, obviously, but one thing I am for sure about is that business owners need to be better about planning ahead. After working closely with business owners and meeting with some of our top business and community leaders this year, I've gathered some insights and successful strategies that are trending for 2025. The following suggestions that I'll be giving are designed to spark ideas for your team and, of course, are just my opinion. The first thing I want to talk about is content. With the onslaught of AI, there is a craving for authenticity in content. People want connection and a feeling of being seen and understood. This is a tricky challenge for businesses because not only do you want to be intentional about the why of each piece of content, for example, what's the purpose, what's your call to action, what goal is this piece of content working towards, so you have all of that. But then also you want to balance looking professional, but also being transparent and human. And I think that takes a lot of intention and having a very balanced content plan. Your content can include curated professional images, 100%. But you can also feature behind the scenes or off the cuff, in-person videos and pictures, maybe of your staff, of the owner. We don't need the Hot Mess Express showing up all the time, doing videos in the messy back room. That is real for sure, but sometimes it causes people to question your professionalism. On the other hand, if you only show the perfect images, you're missing the opportunity for people to get to know you, to get to know how you are different from your competitors. You're missing that human trust element by not showing your faces, by not being real. And for you entrepreneurs, if we haven't even seen your face yet in the feed, you are missing an opportunity to build rapport and familiarity. People buy from people. That is something that I cannot stress enough, especially if you're selling a service. It's competitive out there. And you are the difference between you and your competition. It's you. A lot of you buy products from people and it's the owner that you are really wanting to support. Or maybe the staff is so kind or so easy to work with. It's the people that most people buy from. So this leads me into my marketing insight for 2025, and that is that our personal circles will continue to drive our purchases. If you haven't noticed this, often people are what make the difference when it comes to sales. When you're looking for a product or service, what's the first thing you do? How do you look for who to hire for your service or where to go for your product? Some people post in Facebook groups or maybe on LinkedIn and ask for suggestions or referrals from their circle. So they're asking other people. Some people might ask their personal circle of family and friends, maybe not on social media, but again, people. Maybe you met someone at an event and you've built a professional relationship with each other, and so you choose to hire that person. That also, personal relationship, people again. And you may even do this perhaps unconsciously with people online that you've never actually met and they don't know who you are, but you know who they are. This might be that you listen to a podcast, and over time, by hearing their voice, you've begun to know, like, and trust them. And when they share about a product they use naturally in their conversation, it might feel more influential than an ad because it feels like it's coming from a person that you have gotten to know, even if that's one-sided. I think we all have those relationships with some people online that it feels like you really know them, but you don't. Even when you Google a business or a product, if you go to the reviews, I don't know about you guys, but that's something that I definitely do. If I'm looking up a business on Google, I do check out their reviews. And in that, I'm looking for other people's input to qualify my purchase or before I book. It comes back to people again. Even though I don't know those people, I'm still looking for some human input on a business or service. So if your business or organization is only focused on interruption and impersonal marketing, that's where you are forcing your message on people that didn't ask for it. If you're only focusing on that kind of marketing, you are going to be missing out in 2025. Like most of my advice, there is a middle ground when it comes to marketing, in my opinion. Most of the clients that I work with or people listening build a lot of their business on referrals and personal connections. I'm a big believer in relationship marketing that eventually flows to some intentional next steps that you have already prepared that is going to educate, re-engage, or lead to sales. And that's where that automation, targeted ads can come into play. But most of you, that relationship marketing, the people, is really going to be how you find your next client. So really focus on that. And again, going back to the content, telling your stories, being relatable, having people get to know you. That's what people are craving and looking for. Corporations not doing great lately in their PR. People are really looking to support their neighbors, support their friends, their towns, their communities. And I truly believe that this trend is only going to increase, where people are looking for a human to buy from, someone that they believe in, someone they trust. That authenticity is really what people are looking for. A lot of you are winging it, from those of you I've talked to. And I get it. Social media is never ending. It feels like it is constantly on your to-do list. But that being said, a lot of you don't have a plan. You haven't thought through what's the outcome you're looking for. Having some strategy for your content plan. And some of you have a staff member or a spouse or a teen staff member that was put in charge of your social media account for your company. And there's nothing wrong with having a staff member do your content, and they're probably doing their best. But in 2025, you may need to invest in some strategic support so that you can have a competitive social presence. The online space is just too saturated for winging it. This is something we do provide. If that is something you're looking for, we can sit down with your staff member and you and come up with a strategic plan to follow. We also offer custom branded Canva graphics, templates that they can edit so that you ensure consistency. And we can also even do some of that content for you. So get in touch if that's something you'd like to take off your plate, or even if you just want a session to sit down and do some strategy. Like I said, that online space is just too saturated for you to be guessing what you should be doing for social media. It's too important. So let's move on to events. And when I say events, I'm not talking about weddings or birthday parties, anniversaries. I'm talking about events that you are hosting for your business. These might be for leads. This might be an open house. You might be wanting to host a workshop or some kind of seminar. That's the type of event I'm talking about. The business event space has been ever changing since the pandemic. I pay special attention to the trends in events for local businesses and organizations. like I said, whether that's lead generating events, maybe visibility opportunities, or sales, fundraising. But gone are the days that you can create an average event, and honestly, that's mostly serving your interests, and people will show up to it. We have streaming shows, food delivery. A lot of people are trying to have more family time. So obviously, we're more protective of our time. What is in it for me is the unconscious question in our minds when we see an event pop up in our feed. Can they find the same information online? Because if they can go read a blog post, listen to a podcast, there's less motivation for them to show up in a live Zoom if they can just go get that information somewhere else. Do they need to leave the house? Is this a once a year type experience that if they miss it, there's nothing else like it? You are going to have to be more creative and more strategic and make it really about the guest. And there is a way to find a balanced approach where people want to come to your event, they're excited to come to your event, but you also have a strategic plan to help it still meet the purpose of why you want to put the time and money into hosting an event. Hosting events for your business is a great way to fast forward relationship building. Like we were talking about the relationship part of it. Meeting people in person is a great opportunity and can be extremely effective. The events that I see doing well are experiences that are an escape from the everyday. That might be something fun they do with their friends. It might be a wholesome family experience, but it's a way for them to check out from the daily grind, so to speak. Another one is higher level opportunities to advance a career or business. This is not necessarily, like I said before, just a Zoom workshop. People are looking for more of an experience. Who's in the room? What am I going to be learning that's better to learn in person than it is online? On that note, another one are events that are going to broaden their personal or professional circles or connections. The ones I see doing well have some kind of element to the networking event that makes it different than the traditional business card trading type event. Something creative, something unique. Lastly, and this probably sounds obvious, but I'm amazed at how many, dare I say boring events that I see happening. But create a unique experience that's not widely or regularly available. Something different, add a twist. Something, maybe take an event that's traditionally for a different industry and bring it into your industry and add your own personal touch. People are looking for things that are new, things that are novel, and like I said, that are not regularly available. If they can say, well, I'll go next month or I'll go next time, it just makes it easier not to hit the registration button. If you're having an open house, a workshop, or some kind of foot traffic event, it needs to be an event and worthy of their time. So plan accordingly. If you haven't noticed, my emphasis is always on the planning and the strategy and finding a balance that fits for you. I really believe that every business needs their own unique approach, but it's still important that that approach is based in best business practices. So as I wrap this up, I just want to remind you to focus on the people and putting people first. So when you're doing your marketing, even though you can be using AI, and I do think AI can be a great tool for certain tasks, same with process and automation, but keep the people first when you're doing your planning. What are your customers? They are humans after all. What are they looking for? What do they need to hear from you? And keeping that relationship so important when you're doing your networking and any of your content. Really focus on people first. Then let's build in that automation process so that their experience is stellar. That just builds on the human part of your business or organization. People are craving authenticity, connection, integrity. And my audience and my listeners, you guys have that. So lead with that and then go serve your clients. I hope everybody has a fantastic next year. If you need any support with planning, you know where to find me. And now go get back to work. Unless, of course, you took days off for a break. And then go relax. You shouldn't even be listening to a business podcast.